Hello, welcome to Not Dead Yet's weekly music chat. I'm Dan.
I'm Lee. Hello.
We're just going to have a quick chat about what we've been listening to this week.
Yeah.
So, Lee?
I really like the debut album, the debut album by a band called Goddamn.
Goddamn?
Goddamn.
Goddamn.
They're a duo from Wolverhampton and they've had an EP, possibly two EPs. I saw them a while ago, a couple of years ago, at the Hoxton Bar and Kitchen in London, and I wasn't impressed. I wasn't. Oh, they're okay. I thought they were okay. I heard a lot of people talking about them that I've got similar taste in music to, and as a good underground rock band, I thought that they're good, sort of like hard rock, stoner, sludgy, grungy sort of vibe to them. I think the drummer's got massive hair and he reminded me of Buzz from from Melvins.
Okay.
But yeah, they're okay. Listen to the EP, it was okay. But they released their debut album this week, and I think it's great. It's really good. I think a pleasant surprise.
How old is this?
How old is it? It was out this week.
Oh, okay, right.
The duos are very much a thing at the moment. Royal Blood are massive. There's a band called Slaves that are doing well. That are, again, I think I may have even seen on the same bill or a similar time I saw them. And I'm not particularly into them. They're getting lots of praise, but they remind me a bit more punk rock, Chaz and Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really into them, but they're getting lots of hype. Anyway, so Goddamn are heavier, sludgy, and the album's a real mixture of styles. It kind of it's metal growls, but it's essentially hard rock and kind of like noise elements to it. Certain sludginess, stoner to them.
What do you mean by sludgy?
Stoner rock, like Caius would be stoner rock.
Okay, yeah.
Like that kind of like sort of like Caius would be probably a perfect sort of example.
So because that's kind of like groove based as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like moments where they'll shriek and yell, but then there's like when they sing, kind of reminds me of Gaz Coombs.
Okay.
Like kind of like maybe like In It for the Money era. Supergrass, but they probably wouldn't want that comparison. Yeah. Because it's a lot heavier. But the album's called Vultures.
Okay.
It's out on One Little Indian. I'm going to go and see them live again. I think see if I can see them. Maybe that they've progressed since I've seen them.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't impressed by the EPs, but I do think this album's a really, really strong album. I think it's possibly going to be one of the contenders, one of the albums of the year for a lot of people.
Okay. I was listening to Supergrass this week. Actually, funny that you should say.
Really?
Yeah.
What album?
I listened to Ashikoko.
Oh, great album.
It's
great album.
It's a great album, and it does not get the praise that it deserves.
No.
And when you think about the fact that they were like 16, 17 when they recorded that, because I think they were about the same age as me, and that is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
It's an incredibly tight album.
It's really great, like kind of pop rock songs. Just really, really, really great.
Real energy, really punchy, but really, really tight. Like that's one of the things that I've banged on at you about for years is like bands that are tight and bands that can play. And Supergrass are one of the tightest bands. Their stagecraft, in terms of how they play on stage, is phenomenal.
They're fantastic.
Yeah,
they are great. Like they're definitely one of the best live bands.
Yeah,
and just solid, just really solid.
Absolutely.
There's not gonna be like theatrics and stuff like that. No. I mean, I remember seeing them. They did their 10th anniversary tour when they released the best of. And there was a point, I think it was at the Forum maybe in London, and I went with Michelle, and they played their set, and then they pulled out a sofa.
Right.
And they sat on the sofa. Gaz Coombs picked up an acoustic guitar. Mickey Quinn picked up an acoustic guitar, and Danny Goffey just sat there playing drums on his legs. And they did "Caught by the Fuzz."
Okay, nice.
And they did "Man-Sized Rooster," I think.
Yeah.
And it was just really, and he had a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And that was like that was probably 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah,
when didn't we go and see them when that Diamond Hoo Ha Man, whatever it was, came out?
Was it the Roundhouse?
Yeah, we saw them at the Roundhouse.
I think it was the Roundhouse, yeah.
I mean, I've seen them a few times, but I think we saw them together then. Yeah,
they're great band.
Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, what else? What else have you got for us this week?
Do you know what? I listened to briefly the new the OC's album, which I put on our Facebook page that was streamed on Pitchfork. Haven't given it a real good listen, but it's quite good. That kind of like garage rock, sort of like lo-fi sort of garage rock. But I haven't listened to that enough really to talk too much about it. But how about yourself?
So I've not listened to anything new this week. I listened to Who Killed the Zutons? And we know the answer to that now.
Yeah.
It's Valerie.
Valerie killed the Zutons.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't kill them. It means they don't need to ever make another song
again.
No,
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
Dave McCabe is swimming in pools of money.
It's such a shame, though, because
really good album.
that is such a good album, and I did also listen to Tired of Hanging Around as well.
Yeah. They only did the 2, didn't they?
No, there's 3 or 4.
Really?
There's definitely a third because I got that in the pound shop.
Oh no.
Yeah, which made me sad.
Yeah.
But happy because I was getting it for £1.
Whenever I see
sad.
Whenever I see the albums in pound shop, I've got them all.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, is this where I sit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is this what people think of the music I like? They're such an incredible band. Again,
we saw them. We saw them, didn't we?
Yeah, I definitely went and saw them with Rebecca, my old flatmate, at Hammersmith. But I think you and I have also seen them separately to that.
Yeah, possibly.
And they were another band that were incredibly tight on stage. Like, their sound on stage was incredibly good.
I mean, for perspective, they came out about the same time as the Coral, maybe?
Yeah,
first
after the Coral.
Just after, but it's similar sort of time, early noughties, 2002, 3?
I don't think so. I think it's late. I think they're much later. Because I remember talking about the Coral at university. And I think the Zutons were relatively new when you and I worked together.
I'm going to say 2003.
You reckon? Should we see?
Should we see this? I'm going to say 2, about 3. Zutons would have been like 2.
Okay.
Or maybe 4. Changing now, changing.
Yeah, I just remember being blown away by them live. 2004.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
But that perspective, like Valerie, Valerie was a massive hit for Mark Ronson and Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
It was actually Mark Ronson's album, and you got Amy Winehouse to sing on it.
Yeah.
And it became this exploding song.
That you all know.
That you all know, but actually it was written by Dave McCabe and the Zutons.
And it's a better version, the Zutons version.
They're just very different. Amy Winehouse is a really, really good version.
Yeah.
I prefer the Zutons
because
I heard that first, But Pressure Point, You Will, You Won't.
Yeah.
It's a great album, actually.
Yeah. That's a real shame that. Do you know what? I haven't actually listened to that third album, so I will at some point over the next few weeks go and listen to that third album.
I knew there was a second.
I've also been listening to. There's a guy. I think he's French. He's a hip hop beats producer called Onra, Onra, and he did an album called, I think you would say, Chinois Series.
Right. Okay.
Which is, I think, referring to Chinese. Basically, it's an album of hip hop beats that are all kind of sampled from like Chinese music.
Okay.
And there's some incredible moments on it. There's a track, I don't think it's actually on the album, but it's from around that same time. It was a single release, I think, called The Anthem, which I love. And every time I hear it, it makes me want to do a little victory dance because like it's one of those life affirming tracks.
Right,
it's really, really good.
Is hip hop big in China, Asia?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Not particularly. I wouldn't have thought so. But he's, French, so.
Oh, okay.
And hip hop is kind of big in France. They like hip hop in France. And also, I don't know how I ended up here, but I ended up listening to a lot of Nirvana this week.
Ooh, what period?
I was cherry picking
songs. Like Spotify
from
job.
songs. Yeah. From albums rather.
It's not a bad way to do it.
I was really, really dismayed that Incesticide wasn't on there, and then I realised it's in the compilation section. Rather than being an album, because it's a compilation, because it's B-sides and rarities and
covers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, just really thoroughly enjoyed listening to that.
It's nice to return to stuff like that. Like, I think sometimes, I can be found definitely guilty of not listening to really big acts.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I should listen to other stuff. But when you go back, like Nirvana, and particularly when Nirvana, was definitely your sort of
I love
generation.
Nirvana.
I was a bit later, so I got into music probably just after they decided to have a personal relationship with guns.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the effects of it, but they're great. They're fantastic. I mean, songs still stand up now.
Nevermind, I didn't listen to so much. I like Nevermind, but I think maybe I'm sick of it. I don't know. But there's a couple of tracks like I think is it School and Downer on Bleach, which
good.
I love both of those tracks.
Proper grunge.
Aneurysm on Incesticide, that's incredible.
Molly's Lips is on that.
Yeah, I like Sliver as well.
There's a cover of a Nirvana song. Not cover, an alternative version of a Nirvana song that's faster. I can't remember what it's called. On Incesticide. And
also they've got it is on Spotify. They've got Marigold, which was I think a B-side to Heart Shaped Box.
Okay.
And that's Dave Grohl singing. So it's like an early look at the Foo Fighters, and I love that song. Marigold is great.
Heart Shaped Box was going to be called? Was in Euro going to be called Commercial Unit Shifter or something like that?
Well, no, there's a track on in utero called Radio Friendly Unit Shifter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure Heart Shaped Box is going to be called something else as well, but I can't remember.
Quite possibly, yeah. But yeah, so that's what else I've been listening to this week.
It's a good choice. I might go and revisit Nirvana.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. I'm always well rewarded whenever I do revisit. You forget. I think you forget. I mean, because I don't listen to that much rock, as it were. But even the stuff that I do hear, it lacks. There is something special about Nirvana. There is a real kind of punch. To them.
I think also like when you listen to it, it's songs you remember. You're gonna remember it. They stick. There's the hook. What he always wanted. Like it's. But songs that you can listen to in 30 years' time is still going to be.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. I forget. That's what I'm saying. Like, I forget how much impact those songs have. There's something very aggressive about them. But
they are pop songs as well. Which
is
great.
They're just very, very good. So yeah, that's been fun revisiting all of that. So,
nice.
Yeah,
good.
You can follow us on @HelloNotDeadYet on Twitter.
Yep.
And
Facebook, Hello Not Yet Dead Yet.
And email hellonotdeadyet@gmail.com.
And we've also got a Spotify profile where we once a month put up a list of songs we've been listening to. So April's up there now.
Yeah.
And it's Hello Not Dead Yet with underscores in between the words.
Yeah.
And Instagram, Insta Not Dead Yet, underscores as well.
Cool. So that's it. We're going to take a break for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll see you after that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So happy listening.
Bye.